Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie and this will be a reading for Cancer. If you haven't already and you want to catch more readings, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for some additional content, I do offer a membership. You can click join to check that out. And I also offer private personals. That information is in the description of the video, which is where you see it says more. I'll also pin that in the pin section of comments. If you're new to tarot, just know that not every reading is going to resonate, and so if you feel like I'm wrong or this just isn't your reading, please just disregard it. I'm going to pull cards like King, Queen, Emperor, and Empress. Those cards describe a specific personality, but really don't have anything to do with the sex or gender of the person being described. And some folks feel like the energies are reversed or it's the other way around, and you can take it that way if that's for you. Okay, so we have crystal clarity. I have focus clarity. The universe provides for my desires with abundance as I become clear as crystal. We also have hooked and scarcity tactics. The overall energy, the Eight of Cups. The Page of Pentacles. Okay. So we have the Three of Cups in the reverse, the Chariot, Cancer energy, the Two of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Fool, but also the Hermit flipped out. So some Aquarius energy here, some Virgo energy here. At the bottom of the deck, the Five of Pentacles. Someone's leaving behind. What comes off to me is like this broke mentality. This idea that they don't have enough, or they don't have the skill, the talent that it requires to have enough. Now, you could have felt like in the past that you were just being offered less than, given less than, and on top of it, not really having any support. So having to come up with everything on your own. But I think that, again, this was all, obviously you were living this as a reality, but you realized that it was based off of a very specific mindset. If you feel, this would be like, I didn't go to college. And so I've decided that my best pay is, low paying jobs, something minimum wage, something without benefits, something that, really is just like no skilled required jobs, jobs that someone fresh out of high school would be able to apply for and receive. Not because you don't have experience, but because you think that you're not worth more, right? And sort of moving away from this, realizing that every choice in life is choice. And moving forward, we need to choose better, put our all into doing better. So I think there is this new opportunity coming in here for you, definitely with the Ace of Cups and the Fool. But because you've sort of looked back and paid attention to how you've been thinking about yourself and the decisions that you've made, specifically surrounding money, this is really where the change will come in. Just waking up one day and saying, no, I'm worth more, so I'm going to try my best to get a different position. And, I've heard people speak like this to me, and it's not that everybody out here is, working McDonald's level jobs or something, it's just, maybe choosing to stay at the same job forever because it pays, $5 or $6 more than minimum wage. And again, you didn't further your education. And so, you're just going to stay here because, you're not going to get accepted somewhere else. And then waking up one day and saying, why am I telling myself this without even looking into it? It's a totally different day and age. It is true that degrees help with some positions or whatever, but there's lots of good money out there without necessarily acquiring a new skill or going to school or something like that, For some of you, this is not even about like leaving a job or something. This is deciding that maybe you should have two sources of income. There's something else that you really like to do that you feel like you should just go ahead and take off with it here because, it's hard to get by with just one. For everybody, it's a different situation as far as what you're going to do next, but it's definitely the same situation as where you're coming from. Deciding that you deserve less than. Now, for some of you, this may not even be just job related. You could have been just walking around living life like this. I deserve less than in relationships. I deserve less than in friendships. I deserve less than in life. And that has changed. That has absolutely changed. Okay, so we have the Four of Swords. The Four of Wands. The Queen of Wands. The Queen of Swords. The Tower, Aries Scorpio energy. The Two of Wands. The Ten of Cups. The Two of Swords. So we have a lot of twos out here. 222. Make sure I look that number up, that angel number up tonight. But again, twos in numerology are all about choices and decisions. It's like the blockages created here. Once you took a minute to sit down and think about what you really want to do, you realize that you are in your way, and that's just kind of it. Now, for a lot of you, there is like other things to this. It's like maybe even coming up with almost like excuses, and I don't want to say they're just excuses because I think before they used to be this hard reality in your head. It's like, I want to say thinking, almost that you're like forced into the struggle. You know what I mean? It would be like, well, the reason I don't have any money is because, I have a family, I have kids, and, I'm like limited in my hours of what I can do, and I can't go back to school or something like that. It's like what I'm seeing here is a lot of excuses, and then one day waking up and saying, no, actually, the reason that I'm struggling is me. In order to get to where you are today, this level of confidence, this willingness to sort of break free, separate yourself from whatever is keeping you down and go down a different path, first came through, reprogramming your thoughts. When you see the Queen of Swords with the Tower, it's like being smacked in the face with an epiphany. And this is truth. The truth is I am the problem here. I am in the way. So maybe in the past it really was making excuses or placing the blame on other situations. I don't have a support system. My family never helped me with anything. That's why I didn't go to school. I had kids when I was early, and that's why I didn't get an education, and that's why I don't make a lot of money, so on and so forth. And obviously these are all just examples, but it's the blame shifting, the not taking accountability. The blockage here was just your own mentality. So somebody is completely awake now to the role they play in things, the amount of power that they really do have, and the control that they have over their life. I really like this. Now, part of this is this new opportunity, realizing that you've sort of been a fool all this time, because, like, obviously if you applied to something, or you had put yourself in the position to do something and it's now working out for you, that may have been an option that was always available to you. So I kind of like this. It's like going to sleep one day as a victim and waking up a conqueror. You know, like, we're not doing this anymore. I'm kind of getting too, like, there just is nothing to, like, just not putting the blame anywhere else and saying, you know what, this is on me and I got to do this now. So that is when you really see change in life. Now, for some of you, maybe you're not here, and that is the advice. If you really look at things clearly, you're not really stuck in a position. You're forcing yourself into this scarcity. You're forcing yourself. You're making up excuses to just not do better. And the reality is, you have full control of your life. If there's a will, there's a way. All right, let me just get a couple of cards of advice, and I'll let you guys go on about your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. Definitely put yourself out there, make a new plan, and go towards whatever you're doing. Because the Nine of Pentacles, as a result, is a beautiful energy. But you can do whatever you want here. Definitely stay looking for opportunities. I also want to say, for some of you, there's just an opportunity coming in, and you'll be able to plan a whole new future here. I mean, we're talking about big bucks. The Nine of Pentacles is a completely independent energy. Not needing anyone, being completely self-sufficient. Excuse me. So keep pushing, keep looking, and keep working towards your plans to move forward here. If you're starting something independent, like if you're starting your own small business or something, now is the time to really make those plans. Really sit down and think, and then start moving. Yeah, we have clear and make room for growth. So if you're on the side of this where you've already come out of this sort of like victim mindset and you're really ready to take back control of your life, I'm really proud of you. For some of you, if you feel like, you're down and out, you've hit rock bottom, you don't have any support, you don't have anywhere to go to, it's really time to put yourself out there for some new opportunities, because it will be provided. I'm just going to read this card one more time before we close it out. I have focused clarity. The universe provides for my desires with abundance as I become crystal clear. Saying you can have whatever you want, but you have to work for it. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.